Okay, this morning, if you can bear with me, I want to talk about accelerating growth. Okay, accelerating growth with your startup and kind of drafting on some of these new technologies and the new trends that even the big enterprises and other startups are working on right now. So, three things, okay? I think we can only handle three things today, okay? I'm going to talk to you about the peacock effect. I guarantee you probably haven't heard about this one before, but I almost can guarantee you that you're going to love it and use it, especially if you're a startup. The freemium business model, hands to in the audience, who knows this word? Okay, and who uses it in their business? Okay, not much. Okay, so this is good. You guys will cover that. That'll be great. And then we're going to talk about growth hacking a little bit and how to go viral. I'm not an expert on growth hacking, but the guy that from Facebook is, so I'm sharing some of his information today for you, so I think you'll like it. So the peacock effect. Let's see. All right, where's my peacock? All right, there's my peacock, all right? All right, so this is a true story. When I started a company called Aperion, we were 3 people, okay? We had built a great product. We had no money yet, all right? And I called up a friend of mine who was he's a CEO of a funded company. And I said, I need a big favor. I need to use your office today. And he said, what for? I said, I've got a company coming in from Ohio called American Greetings. They're the largest greeting card company in the world. And they're bringing 15 people from Ohio for this meeting. So I need to borrow your office. And he said, okay, I can lend you a conference room. I said, that's awesome, okay? So that morning, the 3 of us showed up, and we had printed out our banner, and we printed out these signs, and we literally covered the front of his door with our logo. And then when you walked in, you know, those big, beautiful metal signs that's carved and big, expensive, we took our banner and we put it over that, and we made it look like our office, okay? These 15 people from Ohio showed up. We marched them into the conference room. They sat down. It was the best meeting ever. They loved our technology. They decided to hire us on the spot, okay? They left. We went back out into the main area of this office, and we sat down. And we realized that we had forgotten to take the signs down. So my friend, who's a CEO, showed up a little bit later on that morning, and he walked into his office that he pays $10,000 a month for in rent, and my sign is hanging up over his sign. My sign's hanging up over his conference room. And he walked over to me and my co-founders, and he looked at us, and he just smiled, and he said, you guys got a lot of balls. So this peacock effect, sometimes you have to do unnatural things as a small company, okay? We needed to use that office. We needed to pretend, okay? We needed to be big that day, and we were big, okay? So sometimes you need to do the peacock. You know, there's when you can look bigger than you are, all right? And the enterprises need you to look bigger sometimes. There's a saying that you never got fired for hiring IBM. If you heard that comment, well, there's in this cases, when you're a startup, enterprises need you to look bigger. They need you to be bigger sometimes, and so you have to do that. You have to step up to the challenge, and they need to feel safe, and you need to make them feel safe. So sometimes that peacock effect is exactly what you need. The other way you can really win with the peacock is around customer success or customer service. If you can align people that work engineer, you don't have anyone in customer service or customer success, maybe it's yourself personally, but that one-on-one relationship, you heard about it just a minute ago in the last presentation. These relationships are key. So if you can create the peacock effect by creating that one-to-one bond with these people. And a lot of times it makes the difference. They see you as a larger company. Look big, act big. And that's the peacock effect. So let's go into talk about freemium for a minute, okay? Freemium happens to be, I believe, one of the best ways to accelerate these growth curves for your company. And this is one of my favorite, Dilbert. Dilbert's always my favorite, but he basically says, our competitor just bought 10 million copies of our software. And then his boss is like, why did they do that, okay? They planned on giving it away with their own product that has more features. So we'll be part of their freemium strategy. So that is just showing off, he says, because it basically, this is the freemium strategy. If you can do it right, it doesn't even have to be your software that you give away. You can bundle it. You can figure out ways to hook the interest of clients and give them something, and they get more. Okay, freemium, free plus premium. That's where that word came from, freemium, all right? Like any good drug dealer, all right? The hit's on us. The first one's on us, all right? You get people hooked on your software. You get them hooked on your game, all right? They start using your product or service for free, and then you have the right, you've earned the right, you've connected with them, you've added value to their lives, and then you earn the right to charge for it, all right? And in gaming, this has been the most successful part of gaming. At Apple, we struggled how to monetize the App Store for a long time because we knew that, we weren't going to make a lot of money at $1 each, okay? And then something called in-app purchase came along. In-app purchase has been the transformation of how Apple started to make money off the App Store. Because while you're playing a game, you don't even have to leave that game, okay? You finish one level, that's all you get for free. You get that first great level, your second great level. You're not going to leave the game. You're in the game. All you need to do is say, buy it. And that little box comes up, frictionless. You continue on to the next level, and they've banged your credit card, $2.99 or whatever it was. You literally don't even leave the game. So in your company, learn from gamers. Learn from frictionless commerce, because they do it the best. So this is let's see if we can do this here. No. Can I get the video that plays? Maybe not. Sorry. You click it, yeah.
No need to explain the science behind micropay freemium gaming. For years, the concept behind gaming was simple. You pay for the game and you enjoy. With mobile apps, we now have the ability to make games that are boring and stupid. But if you pay for incentives, you're rewarded.
Freemium. The mium is Latin for not really.
It's a simple cycle, a never-ending loop based on RPGs. Explore, collect, spend, improve. But whereas those just use the concept of XP or experience points, we introduced the idea of micro-paying with money. Money.
It's what everyone is doing. Freemium games are what's now, and it's all just a lot of harmless fun.
Could you understand that? I didn't, but the point is that freemium doesn't have to be complex. These guys think it is, but it isn't. So what are the companies with the absolute best freemium model on the planet that everybody should learn from? Okay, these guys did it. They proved it, they built it, and they built billion-dollar companies on top of it. Okay, who didn't use Dropbox for free? Who doesn't use it for free still? Okay, but if you get to that megabyte limit and you need that file, or someone sends you an email with a file you need, your credit card's popping out. You have to. It's like almost you have to buy it. It's just genius, right? Evernote has been great. SurveyMonkey, Skype. You can still use Skype for free all day long, but if you want to use that the phone feature, you're going to put money into your Skype account. So these companies have demonstrated the best uses of freemium, and they each have presentations on their business model. If you look on the web, they each talk about how they used freemium. So I highly recommend you go after that and you learn how to leverage freemium and how to leverage that model. All right, so let's get into some growth hacking discussions and how companies are looking at virality in general. So growth hacking is kind of at the sweet spot when you combine creative marketing, okay, when you combine data analytics, and then software and engineering, right? It's the poor man's marketing tool right now, and it's working, all right? So this is where it's at the center of these convergent plates coming together. And if you're a small startup team, you have to understand, you have to start learning, you have to have skill sets on each member has to contribute to this. So if you have an engineering guy, you've got a marketing gal, if you've got someone who understands data analytics, they have to come back and they have to co-create this strategy. You have to work together on it. Okay, so 3 key elements of growth hacking. I almost called it ethical hacking. So growth hacking. Okay, you've got distribution, you've got tools, and you've got goals, all right? Now, this is pretty complex stuff. It is a lot of trial and error, okay? It's using and combining a lot of traditional marketing chops with things that you may have or may not have done yet. So you're gonna need to understand and try, and you're gonna fail. But don't get discouraged, just keep going, keep at it. There's a lot of great tools out there, and we'll cover them in a minute. The other thing is that this is a sustained approach. This is definitely not one and done. You can't just growth hack, for a month and expect that your user base is going to explode. This is a strategy where you need to stay with it. You need to build a strategy, and then you need to implement it over time and change as you go. Okay, so do I have what it takes? All right, well, you need to understand how to look at numbers. Okay, you don't need a deep algorithmic type of analyst, but you have to understand what numbers mean and how to create the numbers. All right, one of these platforms that you'll see is going to be heavier in numbers than others, but you have to understand what that data means to your company. All right, your engineer, all right, has to understand how to read the code. All right, when you bake some of these into your website, into your mobile app, all right, it's code level. These are either APIs, SDKs, or just custom, a few custom lines of code. But you have to get at the code level. You have to read the code from some of these vendors, and you have to integrate it. So you need a developer to understand what they're doing. User experience is and always will be transformative and key. All right, if your users, if your customers, if your partners don't like or understand how you're talking to them and the experience in coming into your website or your environment in any way, in any omni-channel way, then you're going to fail. Always look at user experience. Put your team, put yourself through the process. Never put something out to market unless you personally have gone through it yourself. Does it feel right? Does it make sense to you? Is it simple? Because if it's not going to work for your customers. Get creative, right? With marketing, you can try a lot of different things that cost a lot of different money. A lot of ideas, they fail. So you need to keep getting creative and coming up with some of these new ideas. And remember, data wins over opinions all the time. You can't argue with data. You can interpret it, but you really can't argue with data. So if you have data, I mean, in life, one thing I teach my 3 boys, I'm like, look, if you can argue and you have data to use, you're most likely going to win that argument. Okay? Opinions don't win arguments usually. So, well, they do if you're, no, I won't go there. Absolute best growth hacking story on the planet. Does anybody know how Airbnb used growth hacking? So, these guys figured out that they could go and leverage Craigslist. Right? That was the genius moment. So they realized that they could essentially hack Craigslist. And every time someone came into Craigslist, and every time someone came to Airbnb, they basically they issued post commands, and it started sharing data back and forth. Company blew up as a result. You can find that moment, all right? Whether it's a website, a partner. We'll go through them, but that was the Airbnb has been, I think, the defining example of growth hacking. So this is probably almost not even viewable, but I'm going to take you through each one of them. So this is a framework, and I'll put this presentation up online, or even better yet, Donald Donkers, this guy right here, Donald Donkers, he is the head of growth for Facebook, and this is his framework. And people are gravitating towards this, and they're leveraging it quite a bit. So the framework essentially brings you through those 3 points. Starting with distribution, you have inbound and outbound, you have SEO, you've got blogs, case studies, white papers, webinars, PR, et cetera. For the distribution on the outbound, you've got SEM, display ads, events. Okay, these all come in to this framework, and as you move through the framework, you're going to quickly understand that the goals that you set up, you want to make sure that you have a goal and that you have a tool to address the goal. So this goal, for instance, is a sign-up rate of 35%, okay? Or 25%. So we want 25% sign-up rate. The tools we're going to use, all right, we're going to use Google Analytics, we're going to use QuantCast, we're going to use Optimizely, and we're going to use Crazy Egg, all right? That's a goal. You know, people come in this case, to landing pages, okay? So what do you need to do? You need to maximize your signups, and you want to go and get that goal of acquisition, activation, retention, and referral. That is the framework of growth hacking. So each goal along the way is met with a tool, all right? So sign-up rates of 25%. The next goal is we want Facebook 7 friends in 10 days. Dropbox, install the desktop client. Twitter, follow 30 people. Tools, okay? So as you look through this process, you'll quickly define and build for yourself what are your goals, what are your tools, and how it's going to work for you. So these are some example goals. Now, has anybody heard of a SMART goal? All right, SMART goals. If you haven't looked at SMART goals, look it up. These are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. It's an acronym called SMART. And I would use these in every, you can use this framework for pretty much everything that you do in a startup. You can use it for getting customers, you can use it for your growth hack, but these are specific things, and they all start with goals, all right? And make sure that these are realistic goals, all right? You want to overachieve. You don't want to come to a manager's meeting and have people miss their mark all the time, because that'll have negative impact on the morale and the culture of the company. So growth hacking, acquisition, lay out your goals, all right? You always have in these 4, you have acquisition, activation, retention, and referral. All right, so some of these are some of the tools, and this is in a table, so you can quickly access it. So SEO, for example, what is the objective of that? To generate traffic. You can predict it, sort of, all right? It's got a long-term time effect. These are the goals you can use, all right? And then they bring you through examples. Accurate and accurate and unique titles, meta tags. So you can go through, there's inbound first. So we'll go through SEO, blog, white paper, all right? Inbound continued, webinar, PR, email, social media. Contest, visual content. Content's always been key. Find it, leverage it, and deliver it. So these are all inbound. Outbound, you have SEM, you've got display ads, video ads, affiliate, sponsorship. Does any of these start making sense to you? Then you should quickly identify it, pick a tool, define a goal, and then implement it. You have activation and retention, okay, the last 2. You've got email, you've got an app for activation, of course, website. You've got, again, define your goals, activation, retention. In summary, okay, so do the peacock, when you need to. Okay, act big and be big for big customers. If you're a 3-man team and they need you to be a 15-man team, be a 15-man team for the day. Okay, get your brother, your cousin, your uncle to come into the office and just walk around if need be. You got to do stuff. You got to do what you need to do. Okay, hook them at scale with freemium. Okay, scale your business with freemium, and then find your Airbnb growth hack moment. And that's the presentation.
Hello there. Let's see, we have some questions. You know how it works.
Sure.
What could be the downside of Peacock's effect freemium model?
The downside of the Peacock effect is if you go too big, if you pretend to be IBM and you're not. Peacock is when you need to be big enough to get that deal. No one expects a startup to be a 1,000-person company, so you need to calibrate the Peacock effect, but don't be afraid to use it.
Next question is, where can you start learning about growth? What kind of websites could you suggest, or books or whatever?
I would start with the Facebook, the head of growth for Facebook. He's got a tremendous blog. All that is in the blog and even more interactive. There are a lot of books on growth hacking. Don't buy any of them.
Well, that's a good one. It's a pretty straightforward question. Chuck, can we have these awesome slides?
Absolutely. Of course you can. They'll be available, and I will get them on a link. So I'll put them in the PODIM app, and I'll put them up on a free Dropbox for everybody.
That's amazing. We have one more question. We have time for one more question, and that is, can you share any other small hack story like the one borrowing the friend's office?
Can I share any more hack stories? Let's see. We used we used growth hacking at Aperion, the company that I started out of Apple, by giving away, we essentially gave away free box.net accounts, okay, for trial. So when someone wanted to buy an app from us, we built the app. We created a customized app for them, and then one of the feature for storage was we gave them a box.net enterprise trial, and it was awesome because they had this amazing app. They had their box.net storage, and as soon as they wanted to pay for that, they did, and it turned into a hack plus freemium win for us and for box.net. And they loved what we did, and we loved what they were able to provide because it was a free association with a big brand. So that's the hack in freemium.
Cheers, Chuck.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure
Okay.
having you.
Take
Thank
care.
you very much,
All right.
Chuck.